So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan, Saltwater Junkie here again. And in case you haven't been following my channel, this is my 125 reef tank that I'm getting going here. I had 2 eels in this tank not that long ago, so I couldn't put any other fish in it. I got a massive red bubble algae bloom. I bought this Fiji foxface and he annihilated that red bubble algae, so thumbs up to him. I got this algae starting in the bottom. I actually bought a diamond goby and he is producing his den. That's what all this sand is up here. He is under this rock right here. He's not going to show himself right now, but he will start eliminating this. I'm starting to get a couple more coral frags in here. My leather coral, I'm going to show you a picture. He kind of curled up and had a mucus layer on the top of him. Thought he was not doing well, but he has opened up and looks better than ever now. So I'll show you some pictures of that. My water parameters are being really stable, doing really well. My nitrates are down at like 10, if not a little less than that. So the new pump I just bought has a wave function on it, and that's what I've got it on right now, so you can see that current. I hope it's not going to take away from the life of the pump, because what it's doing is it's varying the voltage on the pump to create that turbulence, to create that kind of a pulse in the water. I will be doing updates on this pump, but a pump's got to have at least a year on it for me to do a review on it. So we're just going to go over the wave function and what I had to do for plumbing changes. Show you a couple updates on this system as well. So let's get to it. So this is the new pump that is on that 125 giving me that wave function. And I bought it off Amazon for about 110 bucks. We'll see how the reliability goes. It's actually a really big pump for what I paid for it. There's a view of your head pressure with your liters per hour. So this is the module for that pump, guys, and you can switch between constant and wave function with the mode button here. The 100 series is constant flow and the 200 series is wave function, and then you can add or decrease your wave function with these buttons right here. So this is on wave function, guys. And if you notice, it's a very inconsistent way that the water current is pushing these green polyps around. So here's a view of it in the constant mode. So you can compare that to the wave function mode. So my goby is doing what I got him to do, which is awesome. This is the filtration room for that 125. I do already have the new pump in my return section. This is the JEBAO pump that I took out that I will be putting in to run my 75 gallon. A lot of people have said that they haven't had much reliability out of the JEBAOs. I have not had very much luck out of other pumps, but this pump has lasted me probably a minimum of 3 years. It's been running probably closer to 4 years without any issues whatsoever. I have never taken it apart to clean it. Anything, haven't touched it. Since I am going to be wanting to run the wave function on this pump, we have to do some plumbing changes here. Because right now I have my denitrator and my 2 algae scrubbers running off of the pump. I don't want to run those off of the pump when it's in wave mode with the fluctuations. That's going to take away from my consistency of my drip and the consistency of the water flowing to my algae scrubbers. So what I'm going to do instead is we're just going to run a hose, because I'm kind of going from PVC to hose anyways. I'm just going to run a smooth hose so I don't have as many 45s or transitions. And then I'm going to reuse this assembly on my 75 to run a reactor and my algae scrubbers on the other system, and then moving my 2 separate pumps that are running my algae scrubbers on that system over to this one. That's just a sleeve going through the wall that's PVC. I run my hose through there, so no matter what, if I ever get a leak in that hose, where it's in the wall, it's going to come out on either this side of the wall or the other side. It will not leak down in my wall. This is the hose coming through the wall, through my PVC sleeve. So to try and maximize the flow as much as possible off that pump, I've got a 1 inch to 3/4 inch Y. If you do a T, it's a really bad restriction. It's like adding an extra foot of hose, if not more. Yes, Harvey, I see you. And then instead of doing 90s going up, I've just got a straight coming down, so you don't have that abrupt 90 there either. So there's my hose running through the wall, guys, through my PVC sleeve there. You can actually see hose pulsing from the wave function mode. I do have my 2 pumps ran for my algae scrubbers off the individual power heads now. Something interesting, I wanted to tee my denitrator up here. Just put a T-fitting and then run my denitrator up here. But I could not get any flow out of my return. I actually had to tee it down where the air suction port is, which obviously if it's underwater becomes a pressure. And that's where I had to tee that to get flow out of my denitrator. So that was kind of interesting, but I am getting a very slow drip. And I could not get it when I was teed up here. It must have just been a difference in head pressure. But everything's working pretty good. I had made a extra support bracket here just out of this 1x2 PVC board that I use. Supported my refugium return, going back to my filter, and went ahead and supported the hose as well. The one issue that I am having with this system is I made this JEBAO sump a while back, and I've got this massive algae layer that I have to clean off every 2 weeks. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do about that, but besides that, my parameters are really starting to stabilize, the nitrates are dropping, and I'm really content with the way this system is going. So one other thing I'm going to show you real quick. I'm not going to explain how I did this, but I have another video that explains this if you want to look into it. Power distribution box. So you can see I've got everything labeled. I've got a rocker switch for each one of my functions. And then I basically just wired in outlets, basically like a power strip, but instead of just one main on-off switch, I have individual on and off switches for every single one of the outlets. Comes in really handy for maintenance purposes. So this is my 4 main displays running off of this sump, and we're going to switch out my Rio pump to the pump that I took off at a 125 because it's DC, takes less power. So that's got my JEBAO pump in it now. I got a little piece of hose, and I went ahead and was able to reuse most of my PVC. And the reason for that, if you haven't watched some of my videos, whenever I have a PVC that I want to put a bunch of ball valves or T-fittings, I make it in sections. So this is actually a female pipe thread, this is a male pipe thread. Same thing over here, this is a male pipe thread, and then I've got a threaded ball valve, male pipe thread. So this is the actual same assembly that I used on the other tank. I was able to reuse that. I did have to add this extension. So this is male pipe fitting with this piece of tubing here. However, this was a 45 degree that was on the other assembly as well. Then I've got my T assembly here that was able to be reused. I did use a different ball valve because I had made that other ball valve and it was a little longer. And then basically I just had to make this assembly right here. So I started doing this with my plumbing guys a couple of years ago because I changed my systems around quite a bit and had a couple situations where I lost a ball valve because I couldn't reuse it, or I'd have a 45 coming right after the ball valve and then need to move that around, and I'd have to build the whole thing over again. That's why I started doing the threaded fittings. Now you do have to use unions when you do that, so you've got a way to turn the fittings and tighten them up. But overall, I have come to the conclusion it's probably saved me quite a bit of money. So one of the other reasons that I put the JEBAO pump on here, it was a bigger pump, and I want to run a media reactor, which I'm in the process of putting together right now. So hopefully you tune in for that. That'll probably be on the next saltwater video, guys. Hope this helped you out, and hope to see you next time. Later.